He possessed everything that money could possibly buy. And precisely that was what was tearing his life apart. Have you ever paused to consider that perhaps, just perhaps, your relentless chase for always having more is the very thing leaving you with less? There exists a Japanese concept named seihin, which translates literally to clean poverty or dignified poverty. But wait, before you click away thinking I'm about to suggest you live like a Buddhist monk, let me clarify something. Seihin is not about relinquishing everything. It's about something else entirely. The mental discipline to choose simplicity in a world that ceaselessly bombards you with the notion that you always need more. And the most fascinating part, neuroscientists explain that our brains were never designed to handle the absurd volume of stimuli, options, and possessions we amass in the modern age. Every single object in your home, every notification on your phone, every entry on your calendar is literally draining your mental energy. A Princeton University study discovered that physical clutter in our surroundings competes for our attention, leading to decreased performance and increased stress. But the story for today's video doesn't start with scientific studies. It begins with a man called Jonah. Before we go on, if you desire more content like this, that genuinely makes a difference in your life, subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Comment below about which area of your life feels most overwhelming right now. It can be a simple comment, but it will make you reflect. Now, back to the video. Chapter 1C. The overburdened executive Jonah was 40 years old, and by every conventional standard, he had succeeded. A marketing executive at a tech firm, a 6-figure salary, a 200-square-meter apartment in an upscale neighborhood. 3 cars sat in the garage because he needed one for every occasion, right? A closet bursting with clothes, tags still attached. A smartwatch monitoring everything. A smart TV in every room. Smart light bulbs, smart locks. Even the refrigerator was smart. Ironic, then, that Jonah felt utterly stupid. Every morning, even before rising from bed, he would check the myriad notifications on his phone. Work emails at 6:23 a.m., messages from family groups he never had time to properly read, offers for products he didn't know existed but suddenly seemed essential. He woke up tired. Always tired. That specific tiredness that doesn't fade even after 8 hours of sleep, because it wasn't physical exhaustion. It was cognitive drain. The closet overflowed. Each morning was an agonizing decision. What to wear? What if he needed to go straight to a happy hour after work? Better pack an extra change of clothes and a spare pair of sneakers. And breakfast. He owned 6 types of granola, 4 brands of imported coffee, 3 varieties of plant-based milk, yet he never knew what to eat. Choice paralysis. In the end, he always grabbed whatever was closest and ate it in traffic. The traffic. Oh, the traffic. An hour and a half to travel 15 kilometers. Horns blaring, brakes screeching, people cutting him off, him cursing back, podcasts in his headphones, terrible news on the radio, emails answered at red lights, arriving at the office already at 9:30 a.m., late as usual. Jonah switched into autopilot mode. Meetings, spreadsheets, more meetings, phone calls, impossible deadlines, people demanding results, him demanding results from his team. And every few minutes, that irresistible urge to check his phone. Instagram, LinkedIn, news, as if something critical could have happened in the last 3 minutes. Lunch was fast food at his desk, swallowed without tasting while answering emails. By afternoon, his energy plummeted. More coffee at chocolate bar, anything to keep going. When he finally got home, usually after 9 p.m., Jonah could barely string a coherent sentence together. He'd turn on the TV, scroll through Instagram, and somehow, without realizing it, it was midnight, and he was buying things on Amazon he didn't need. A magnetic knife organizer for a kitchen where he never cooked. a premium toolkit for repairs he never made, an online photography course forever stuck at 2% completion. Buying gave a fleeting sense of control, as if each new object could fill the void he felt. But the next day, the boxes remained piled in the corner, and the emptiness was still there. It was an ordinary Tuesday when everything began to shift. Jonah was late, again for a crucial meeting. He was frantically searching for his car keys amidst the chaos on the entryway desk. 2 keys for cars he no longer used. 3 unfamiliar flash drives, batteries, business cards from people he couldn't remember, 6 remote controls for devices he wasn't sure even worked. And then, as he rummaged through that chaotic drawer, something inside him snapped. It wasn't dramatic, no tears, no breakdown. It was something more subtle and more frightening. He simply did not recognize his own life. He looked around the apartment. Really looked, for the first time in months. Shelves overflowing with books he would never read. Gym equipment turned into coat racks. Collections of things he couldn't recall why he'd started. An entire shelf dedicated to tech gadgets that had been essential for 2 weeks and then forgotten. In that moment, a question flashed through his mind like lightning. Do I possess these things, or do these things possess me? He canceled the meeting. He called in sick to work. He wasn't lying, not really. Something was sick. It just wasn't physical. Jonah spent the entire day sitting on his sofa, just observing, trying to remember the last time he had felt truly light, truly at peace. He couldn't. That night, while absent-mindedly scrolling through Instagram, some habits die hard. He saw a post from an interior designer he followed. It was about Japandi style, a blend of Japanese minimalism with Scandinavian design. In the middle of the post was a photo of a ceramic piece, simple, elegant, intentionally imperfect. Something about that image pierced him deeply. Without much thought, Jonah decided he would buy an authentic Japanese piece to decorate his apartment. Something to bring that serenity he saw in the photo. It's funny how life works, isn't it? He was still trying to solve the problem by buying things. The lesson hadn't yet been learned. But sometimes, the cure comes disguised as the disease. Searching online, Jonah discovered a traditional Japanese craftsman living on the city's outskirts. A man named Daisuke who had moved to the country 15 years prior and maintained a small workshop where he created ceramics using centuries-old techniques. The following Saturday, Jonah drove there. The address led to a quiet, tree-lined street far from downtown chaos. When he arrived, he almost thought he had the wrong place. It wasn't a store. It was a small, simple house with a tiny, impeccably kept garden, stones arranged with intention, bamboo swaying gently. The atmosphere was one of calm deliberation. Jonah rang the bell. The door opened, and a Japanese man around 60 with gray hair offered a gentle smile. "You must be Jonah. Please, come in." Daisuke's voice was soft but firm, the voice of someone in no hurry. Stepping inside, Jonah immediately felt the difference. It wasn't just the house, it was the silence. It was as if he'd left a noisy avenue and entered a quiet forest. The room was nearly empty. A tatami mat on the floor, a low wooden table, a single painting on the wall, simple brush strokes of a mountain, and a circle that could be the moon or sun. A small bookshelf with perhaps 20 books neatly arranged. Nothing more. No TV, no excessive decor, no visual noise. "Please, sit," said Daisuke, pointing to a cushion by the table. Jonah sat, feeling uneasy. He wasn't used to so much silence. "You came looking for pottery," Daisuke said, pouring tea into 2 delicate cups. "But what are you truly searching for?" The question caught Jonah off guard. Well, I saw your work online. I thought it was beautiful. I wanted something to decorate my apartment." Daisuke smiled. It wasn't condescending, it was kind, understanding. "Let me show you the workshop." They walked through a small hallway to the workshop at the back of the house. Jonah expected to find modern equipment, shelves of materials, something elaborate. What he saw confused him. The workshop was smaller than his closet. There was a potter's wheel, an old wooden one operated by a foot pedal. A simple workbench with 3 tools, hanging from it a bamboo knife, a natural sponge, and a thin wire. That was all. "Is this everything?" Jonah asked before he could stop himself. Daisuk picked up a lump of damp clay and sat at the wheel. "Saihin, do you know this word?" he said calmly. Jonah shook his head. "It means a clean poverty, or dignified frugality. But it is not about being poor. It is about choosing simplicity as a form of mental discipline." Daisuk began working the clay. His movements were precise, economical. Not a single gesture was wasted. The wheel turned at a steady, hypnotic rhythm. "When I was young in Japan," Daisuk continued, eyes on the forming piece, "I worked for a large industrial ceramics firm. We had expensive machines, dozens of specialized tools, computers controlling every detail. We produced 1,000 pieces a day, and I was unhappy, completely." "Why?" Jonah asked, genuinely curious. "Because I had forgotten. Because every new tool, every new process, every new technology stood between me and the clay, between me and the true purpose of my work." Daisuk picked up the bamboo knife and made a precise cut along the piece's edge. "One day, my master, an 80-year-old man who still made pieces by hand, told me something that changed my life. He said, 'Daisuk, you do not need 100 tools. You need 3 tools and 100 hours of practice.' Jonah looked at the 3 tools on the wall. "And you only use those 3? "These 3, Daisuk confirmed. "And my hands, and this wheel that is nearly 100 years old." He took the damp sponge and smoothed the piece's surface with circular motions. "Do you know what happened when I simplified? When I eliminated all that was unnecessary, I began to see again, to feel again. Each piece I create now has a soul, has intention, because there is nothing between me and the creation. No distractions, no excess, only the essential." Daisuk used the wire to separate the finished piece from the wheel. It was a simple bowl, elegant, imperfect in a deliberate way. The rim was slightly irregular, the clay's texture still visible. But it had a presence that mass-produced items never possess. "That is Seihin," Daisuk said, carefully placing the bowl on a shelf to dry. "It is not about having less because you are poor. It is about choosing less to have more clarity." Daisuk prepared more tea, and they returned to the living room. "Let me tell you something about the human brain," Daisuk said. Jonah was surprised by the shift. "You think I only know ceramics, yes?" Jonah gave an awkward smile. "I read a great deal," Daisuk continued. "And one thing I have learned is that our brains have a limited capacity for attention. Scientists call it cognitive load." He gestured to the empty room around them. "Every object in your field of vision consumes a little of your attention. Every choice you must make, even a small one like which pen to use, consumes a little of your mental energy." Would Jonah thought of his crowded apartment, his chaotic drawers, his impossible closet. "There is a researcher named Barry Schwartz who wrote of this," Daisuk went on. "He calls it the paradox of choice. The more options you have, the harder it becomes to decide, and the less satisfied you are with your decision. Because you are always wondering, what if I had chosen differently?" That was exactly how Jonah felt every day. "Zen monks have always known this," Daisuk said. "That is why they live with almost nothing. Not because they are poor, because they understand that external simplicity creates internal clarity." He paused, sipping his tea. "There is another concept related to Seihin. It is called mushin, empty mind, or a mind free from distractions. It is the mental state the samurai sought. A clear, focused mind without noise, And how do you reach that state? Jonah asked. By eliminating the unnecessary, externally and internally. Daesuk stood and went to the small bookshelf. He pulled out an old notebook and returned. When I moved into this house 10 years ago, I had 3 rooms full of stuff. Books, tools, clothes, gifts I'd received and never used, unfinished projects. He opened the notebook. Inside were handwritten lists. I spent 6 months performing an exercise. Each day, I chose an area of the house and asked myself, is this essential? Does this serve my purpose? Does this bring me real joy? Or just the illusion of security? And what did you find? That 90% of my possessions were dead weight. Things I kept just in case. Things I bought to feel better for a few minutes. Things I thought defined me, but that only distracted me from who I truly was. Jonah felt a tightness in his chest, a deep recognition. I donated, sold, or discarded almost everything. It was painful at first. Every object seemed important, but you know what happened next? What? I started breathing again. Jonah left Daesuk's house that day without buying any pottery, but he carried away something far more valuable, a sense of unease, a seed that had been planted. In the days that followed, he couldn't stop thinking about Daesuk's words. He began to notice how he felt entering his apartment. After work, anxious, suffocated, oppressed. It wasn't the apartment. It was the sheer volume of things, the excess, the constant visual noise competing for his attention. The next weekend, Jonah made a decision. He grabbed 3 large boxes and started with the closet. His first rule was simple. If I haven't used it in the last 3 months, it goes. It was brutal and liberating. Designer shirts he never wore because they were too nice. Donation box. Pants that no longer fit, kept just in case. Donation box. Uncomfortable shoes bought only because they were on sale. Donation box. In the end, the closet that once held 80 items was down to 25. And you know what happened Monday morning? Jonah got dressed in 2 minutes. No anxiety, no second guessing, no feeling of wearing the wrong thing. The impact was so profound, he continued. The kitchen. He had 3 stand mixers. 6 pots he never used. Dozens of plastic containers without lids. Kitchen gadgets bought on impulse from TV shows. He kept the essentials: 1 good pot, 1 good pan, basic quality utensils. The living room. Shelves cluttered with trinkets, work awards that meant nothing, decor bought because a space felt empty. He removed almost everything, leaving only a few pieces he truly loved. The apartment began to breathe. There was space. There was visual silence, and something surprising happened in Jonah's mind. He started to feel lighter. Not just physically, but mentally, as if each departing object freed up a little space in his brain. 3 months later, Jonah returned to Daesuk's house. This time, he didn't come as a consumer. He came as a student. I did what you suggested, Jonah said upon entering. I simplified my apartment, and it worked. I feel different. Daesuk smiled. I am glad. But tell me one thing, did you simply discard things, or did you reflect on why you had accumulated them all? The question caught Jonah off guard. I discarded them. Why? Daesuk asked gently. Because seeing is not merely about having fewer things. It is about understanding why you seek excess in the first place. They sat again in the minimalist room. Let me ask you something, Daesuk said. Why do you buy so much? Jonah was silent for a moment. I don't know. It makes me feel good. For a little while. For a little while. Daesuk repeated, emphasizing the point. And then I feel empty again. And then I buy something else. Exactly. You are using consumption as emotional anesthesia. You are not buying objects. You are trying to buy peace of mind. The truth hit Jonah like a physical blow. There is a phrase I am fond of, Daesuk said. When you realize you need nothing, you have everything you need. He poured more tea. True Seihin goes beyond material simplicity. It is a mental discipline. It is about training your mind to find sufficiency in what you already have. To not seek validation in possessions. To not measure your worth by what you can buy. And how do you do that? Jonah asked. By practicing mindfulness. Zanshin. A state of relaxed alertness. You are fully focused on the present moment, on the task at hand. Daesuk gestured to the window overlooking the small garden. When I tend the garden, I only tend the garden. I am not thinking of bills or projects or worries. I am there, hands in the soil, feeling the texture, seeing the colors, hearing the sounds. That seems impossible for me, Jonah admitted. My mind is always racing. Because you fuel that racing. Constant notifications, multitasking, perpetual consumption of information and entertainment. Your brain is addicted to stimulus. Daesuk picked up his own cell phone, a simple, old model. I have a phone, but I have no social media. I receive no notifications. I do not read the news all day. And do you know what I gained? What? Time to think. Time to process. Time to simply exist without constantly reacting to something. Chapter 80 Daily Practice. In the months that followed, Jonah began applying Seihin to other areas of his life. He reduced his social commitments. He stopped saying yes to every event, every happy hour, every meeting. He learned that no is a complete sentence. His calendar, once overflowing, began to have white space. And in that space, he rediscovered something forgotten: productive boredom. Moments where nothing urgent was happening, where he could simply sit and think. Read a book cover to cover without interruption, cook a real meal while paying attention to each step. He instituted a personal rule: one in, one out. If he bought something new, something old had to go. This forced him to question if he truly needed that new item. Most often, the answer was no. He also began practicing what Daesuk called a digital fast. 1 hour before bed, no screens, no email, no social media. The first few nights were agony. He didn't know what to do with his own hands. He paced like a recovering addict, which in a sense, he was. But after 2 weeks, something shifted. He started sleeping better. His mind, which used to race into the night, began to slow naturally. He woke up rested for the first time in years. At work, he applied the same principle. He closed the 15 browser tabs permanently open. He uninstalled apps he checked compulsively. He set specific times to check email. 3 times a day, no more. His colleagues found it strange at first. How are you getting everything done without being always online? They asked. The answer was simple. He wasn't doing everything. He was doing the essential things and doing them well. His productivity, ironically, increased because he was no longer in constant reaction mode, jumping from task to task. He would choose one thing, focus on it completely, finish it, then move to the next. Zanshin, full attention. 6 months after their first meeting, Jonah and Daesuk had become friends. Jonah visited the workshop regularly. Sometimes he helped with small tasks. Sometimes he just sat and watched the master work at the wheel. There was something meditative in it, the silence, the steady rhythm, the total absorption. One day, Daesuk asked, "Have you noticed that all my pieces contain imperfections?" Jonah looked at the bowls and plates on the shelf. It was true, none were perfectly symmetrical. Some had slight texture irregularities. Others held subtle color variations. Yes, I noticed. Is it intentional? Absolutely. There is a concept called wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection and impermanence. It is related to Seihin. Daesuk picked up a bowl with a fine crack. When Westerners see a crack, they see a defect, something to hide or fix. In Japan, we have a technique called kintsugi, repairing broken ceramics with gold. Gold. Why? Because the crack is part of the object's history. Instead of pretending it never broke, we celebrate the break. We make it visible, beautiful. The piece becomes more valuable because of its imperfection, not with spite of it. Jonah was silent, processing. Saihin is similar, Daisuk continued. It is not about creating a perfectly minimalist life where you have nothing and live as a monk. It is about accepting enough. He replaced the bowl. You will make mistakes. You will sometimes buy unnecessary things. You will get distracted. You will fall back into old patterns. And that is okay. What matters is that you keep returning. Always return to the practice. That reminds me of something. Jonah said, I've realized that the fewer things I own, the more I value what I do own. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. When you have 80 shirts, none are special. When you have 8 shirts you truly love, each one matters. You care for them better. You appreciate them more. Daesuk smiled. This applies to everything. Friendships, commitments, even information. The less you consume, the more you absorb. Tana thought of how he used to read dozens of articles a day, but remembered almost nothing. Now he read less, but truly processed what he read. There is one last concept I wish to share with you, Daesuk said. Ichigo Ichi. One time, one meeting. The idea that each moment is unique and will never repeat exactly. How does this connect to simplicity? Because when you are overwhelmed, rushing, distracted, you miss the moments. They pass, and you do not even notice. But when you simplify, when you create space, you become able to be present. And then, every moment becomes precious. Today, 2 years after that first meeting, Jonah's apartment is unrecognizable. Not because of expensive renovations, but because he removed all that was unnecessary. The living room holds a comfortable sofa, a wooden table, a bookshelf with his favorite books. Not every book he ever bought, but the ones that truly mean something. And on the table, a single ceramic piece, a bowl made by Daesuk. Simple, elegant, with small imperfections that make it unique. Jonah no longer owns 3 cars. He has one, which he actually uses and maintains. His closet no longer overflows. He owns 20 pieces of clothing he loves and wears regularly. No more streaming subscriptions he never watches, apps he never opens, products forgotten in drawers. He has less, and because of that, he has more mental clarity, more energy, more time, more peace. He still works at the same company, but now he arrives home by 6 p.m. because he learned to focus on the essential and decline the superfluous. He still has a smartphone, but without social media, without constant notifications, without the compulsion to check it every 3 minutes. He still buys things. But now he thinks first. He asks, do I need this? Does it serve my purpose? Will it bring real value or just momentary satisfaction? Most often, the item stays on the shelf, and the most surprising result of all, Jonah saved more money in the last 2 years than in the previous 10. Because he stopped spending on things he didn't need to impress people who didn't care. He uses that money for experiences, meaningful trips, dinners with close friends, pottery classes with Daesuk. He discovered that creating something with his own hands brings a satisfaction no purchased product ever could. Let's recap what Jonah's story teaches us first. Seihin is not about poverty. It's about the mental discipline to choose simplicity in a world constantly pushing us toward excess. Second, every object you own, every appointment on your calendar, every notification on your phone consumes a little of your mental energy. External simplicity creates internal clarity. Third, the paradox of choice is real. The more options you have, the harder it is to decide, and the less satisfied you are with your decision. Fourth, consumption is often emotional anesthesia. We aren't buying objects, we're trying to buy peace of mind, and that never works long term. Fifth, Zanshin, total attention to the present moment. is the antidote to the fragmented, scattered mind modern life cultivates. And lastly, Wabi, Sabi, and Kintsugi teach us that imperfection is part of the journey. You don't need to be perfectly minimalist. You just need to keep returning to the practice. The question I leave you with is this: what in your life is consuming your mental energy without adding real value? It could be physical clutter. It could be social commitments you feel obligated to but don't enjoy. It could be apps on your phone. It could be toxic relationships. It could be worries over things you cannot control. Whatever it is, what would happen if you simply let it go? Jonah discovered that less can be exponentially more, and you can too. If you appreciated this content, I invite you to watch the last video posted this week, where I discussed the mistake of trying too hard for someone who doesn't deserve it, and why letting go is the greatest act of self-love. If this story resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, because this is the kind of content we will continue to bring. Content that truly transforms, not just entertains. Thank you for your attention, and remember, simplicity is a mental discipline. Practice it daily, and little by little, you will notice the difference. I'll see you in the next video.